Hello, 22nd of July 2024, and it's been raining, not a lot, but enough to put this thing on. It is about 20 past 10 in the morning. I've got 2 more deliveries to do, which is really bad. Good for me, because I can get to go home sooner, but bad for Sammy because the freight is just not there. But it's good I'm finishing early today because I'm going to the library with Tan to work on her permanent residency visa. See, we had all the forms filled out, but apparently they don't accept forms anymore. It has to be all done online, which is good for those immigration advisors because they're laughing all the way to the bank, because it's difficult to navigate all of those things online. But Tan and I are going to have a stab at it at the library this afternoon when I finish early, so that's good. After that, we're going to go to the Specsavers and get her eyes retested because I think she needs some new glasses as well, so that's the next thing on the agenda. Also going to go to the Hospice shop, see what kind of couches that they've got, because I'm thinking about getting rid of my lazy boys and getting a couch so Tan and I can sit together on a piece of furniture. So that's all good. What else to talk about? Well, Donald Trump assassination attempt is getting really interesting. I saw a breakdown of the noises. There were 6 shots fired that day before the Secret Service got off their shots. 6 shots. Now, the conspiracy theorists out there have a lot of weight behind their argument because the sound of the shots and then the report of the rifle, because you hear the bullet go through the air. There's 2 sounds when microphones are placed, right? You get the sound of the bullet going past, and then you hear the sound of the gun firing that bullet, because the bullet travels faster than the sound of it being fired. Now there's an interval between when the bullet is heard and when the rifle is fired. Now for 2 of those, the time between those 2 sounds was exactly the same. And I think the other 4, the time between when the bullet passed the microphone and the report of the rifle was almost twice as long. And that's impossible if that same shooter was shooting from the same position. So there had to be other rifles involved that were further away than the guy that they killed and ultimately blamed. So there are other rifles further away from where that guy who put a nick in Donald Trump's ear fired his shots. And this is before the Secret Service took this guy out. So who else fired a rifle? And from what position? And where did those bullets end up? Because the sound interval between those 2 reports, the sound of the bullet going past, and then the sound of the rifle sending that bullet. There are 2 different times involved in those recordings, and that's impossible from one guy shooting from one position. He would have had to have teleported, what was it, 1,400 feet away from Donald Trump when he was 800 feet away. He would have had to teleport it from his position in order to fire those other shots from 1,400 feet away. So, yeah, all the conspiracy theorists are start latching onto that as soon as it becomes more known. And the Secret Service people weren't even Secret Service. They were Department of Homeland Security assigned DEI assignments for Donald Trump. In other words, they'd never done that kind of work before. They were security officers for, I think, a biscuit factory and a potato chip factory. And they went from that to protecting Donald Trump. And that was the women in his security team. They weren't even Secret Service agents, but they were assigned by the head of the Secret Service. Some woman whose agenda it is to make 30% of the females of the staff for Secret Service detail, the security detail for the president. It's her agenda to make that 30% female. It's on her agenda. She's putting unqualified people into positions that they can't handle at a time when they need to handle this shit in the right way. It's a monumental failure right throughout the board, and I hope Trump cleans house at the FBI and DHS. I know he's going to fire a lot of IRS agents. 65,000 IRS agents that were hired by the Dems. He's going to get rid of them because they're not necessary. They were created to go after the little people. Yeah. So Donald Trump is all about the little people, protecting and their rights. And there was a woman behind Donald Trump who looked in the direction of the shooter. It's on video. And she didn't panic or react when those shots rang out. She had her phone out and was recording the podium where Donald Trump was in the moment that Donald Trump was shot. And it's been found out that she is a top-ranking official in the FBI. She had all the Trump regalia on, like MAGA, black MAGA hat and all the rest of it. But she had an agenda. She was there for a reason. And I hope that Congress drag her in to answer some serious questions. Because this was an assassination attempt, not by that young man who was killed. It was a coordinated effort. He was told that area was going to be unguarded, unwatched. And he would be able to get in there easily. And for people to think that this kind of stuff doesn't go on, you're dreaming. Everyone remembers that movie Shooter by Mark Wahlberg. He was asked to, his character was asked to plan an assassination attempt on a foreign dignitary. And he was told, what would you do? How would you do it? We need to, because he was an expert at it, expert sniper, so they needed his input. But what they were doing was getting his input to make that assassination happen. And they blamed him for it in the movie. And I reckon that's what they've done with this young man, this 20-year-old. They've set him up. He took the shots, no doubt. But they knew he was there an hour before he actually took those shots. No crap. They knew he was there an hour because they were alerted to his presence, the local PD, who weren't in the loop. You know? They were there, they were low-level security, but they weren't told vital statistics about why he was there, who he was, and to let him do it. So the cops were alerted. And I think the cops alerted the Secret Service, but they did nothing. And they allowed him to take those shots before putting him down. They wanted that patsy for when Donald Trump was killed. Things didn't go to plan, did it? He lived. really interesting to hear what comes out in all of these investigations, because the security detail for Trump had to have gone in a couple of days before and set everything up, and those plans would have been written down and recorded, and every aspect of the surroundings would have had to have been noted, and positions authorized for the protection of Donald Trump. And those people who made those decisions are going to be answerable to a few questions about why they didn't put a person on that roof. The head of the Secret Service, this lady, she was told nobody was put on that roof because it was a sloping roof and it was unsafe to have somebody up there. It was sloping about 5 degrees. There was more of a slope on the roof that snipers were put on. Were actually put on roofs about 4 times the slope, but not on the roof that young man managed to get onto. It was only a slight slope, but in her opinion, it was too dangerous to place anyone up there. But she put them on other roofs with an even greater slope. So that, I hope she's asked that question. Oh yeah. It's going to be real entertaining to see some heads roll, so to speak. Figuratively. So there's now I'm going to end it there. I've got a few more deliveries to do before I head back and catch up with Tan. So catch up next.